Hello, I'm Mrs Wallace and I'm the Inclusion Manager at Temple Hill School. I'm really pleased to welcome you today to join in with this training on emotion coaching. I'm hoping that you'll find it really useful in supporting your children. Now, there's one really important idea that I'd like you to take away from this training today. I'd like you to rethink how you may historically have seen behaviour. Behaviour is a form of communication. More precisely, behaviour is a communication of an emotion. Behaviour is complex. There's a reason for it. There is a functional element. And in emotion coaching, it's our role to try and decipher what is the emotion that's being displayed in this behaviour. Now, often we'll see behaviour that looks like it is portraying anger, but it might actually be masking anxiety, confusion, shame, fear. As I said, it is complex. And as adults, we have the benefit of experience and the ability to be self-reflectors. Now, one of the outcomes of emotion coaching is that we can enable children to develop these skills in themselves. So we cannot assume that children automatically have the skills to manage their emotions in the same way that we don't assume that they can read when they reach a certain age. It takes persistence and practice. And just like there are strategies for reading, there are strategies for emotion coaching. It's hard work. Sometimes it feels like it gets worse before it gets better, but don't give up. You will get there. From early childhood, our experiences and interactions give us scripts and schemas, what to say, how to behave, what to do. The key ingredient here is the role of the caregiver. For example, if your young child is crawling away from you, they will instinctively look over their shoulder for a cue from you to see if it's safe to continue. If you smile or laugh, they know it's safe, they will carry on. But if you scowl or give them a very obvious hand gesture, they will turn and come back to you, or alternatively, as many of us have seen, they will sit and they will cry. Equally, if you have a stressful drive home from school and you have a near miss with another driver, it's a frustrating and stressful situation. But if you yell at that other driver and your child is in the back of the car, they are likely to mirror that behaviour. They are taking that cue from you that in a moment of frustration, shouting or appearing to be aggressive, displaying anger, is the appropriate behaviour. They mirror behaviour. We mirror each other's behaviour. Emotion coaching has an evidence basis. And this is great because it lets us know that this isn't just something that we've read about. It's not a fad. There is fact behind it that it can make a difference to your child. Gottman said in 1997 that emotion coach children are more emotionally stable. They are more resilient. They can achieve more academically and have fewer negative behavioural problems and are most socially successful. And that's something that I think we want for our children. Now, on the flip side, he said that children who are not emotion coached can lack the ability to self-soothe, are less able to control their emotions, find alternative outlets for dealing with their emotions, and this particularly can happen around the teenage years, can be less sensitive to social cues, and can lack resilience in learning and friendships. So we can see that emotion coaching can have a wide-ranging impact on our children. We all have an inner voice. It can be an inner critic. Don't wear that. That doesn't suit you. That drawing is dreadful. You're never going to be good at this. I'm sure we can all recognise those moments. By modelling and giving our children scripts and schemas, we can support them in developing their inner coach with a voice that is more constructive and supportive and can be louder and drown out the critic. It's the same voice that children naturally have if they're running in a race. Keep going, you can do it. And we can teach them and show them how to use that voice, develop that voice in a wide range of scenarios. Now, children learn from repetition and application. They can learn that from even negative behaviours. And if negative behaviour is working from them, if they get the response that they crave. Emotion coaching can introduce more positive, regulated behaviours and articulation. That is, enabling children to reach the point where they can say how they feel and make reasoned choices about their reactions. Now, as we've said already, a wide range of emotions can be demonstrated through what we perceive to be negative behaviours. It could take some time to unpick this and to reverse an established behaviour. Don't panic, it can happen. You might want to pause the video here and have a look at this slide, because there's lots here to really get us thinking and reflect on our own child and the behaviours that we might see. Our aim is to use emotion coaching to move children from external regulation, where we use sanctions and rewards, to keep our children away from negative behaviours. We all know this is a challenge and it can be exhausting. Let's face it, if you started a sticker chart, it may work for a week and then it may stop working. You may forget to put the stickers on. It may become more of an issue than the behaviours in the first place. Through emotion coaching, we are empowering our children to apply positive strategies, and we are giving them these clear messages. So they are using their own internal regulation. They no longer need those external incentives from us. So this is lifelong skills that we're helping our children to develop here. Remember, as I said, it's not a quick process. It takes time and practice, but it's really worth it. Now, what emotion coaching teaches our children is that we all have feelings and that we need to recognise them in ourselves as well as others. But we are not alone. We are accepted, supported, cared about, understood and respected. We are empowered. It's safe to problem solve. And that feelings are okay, but sometimes we need help to regulate them. And that is all feelings. Anger is not wrong. It's a completely natural emotion, just as happiness is, but it's how we regulate it and how we behave in response to that. That's the issue here. Now, emotion coaching takes a lot of effort. Children need a high level of guidance and empathy. You need to take it one step at a time. And the research actually says that if an emotion coaching approach is applied 40% of the time, then that is considered good enough to make a difference. Dealing with negative behaviours can be exhausting. In the first instance, prioritise your emotions and your behaviours. Breathe, steady yourself, and then consider connection before correction. This slide shows us about different types of parenting styles. Dismissing parents can see emotions as unimportant and attempt to get through them quickly, often through the use of distraction. Disapproving parents see challenging emotions as something to be squashed, usually through punishment. And then laissez-faire parents can accept all emotions from their child, but fail to help the child solve problems or put limits on appropriate behaviours. The dismissing and disapproving can lead to children suppressing their emotions. Laissez-faire parents can help the situation become worse by inflaming the situation with their own chaos through a toxic empathy that could be perceived as an approval of negative behaviours. We all display aspects of these from time to time. We are human, and we're not always focused to adopt the ideal response. It is okay to ask for help. This is good modelling. Look, you need to look after your own emotions. Think, you need to put your oxygen mask on first. So, for emotion coaching parents, they value different emotions are not impatient with a child's expression of them and use emotional experience as an opportunity for bonding by offering guidance through labeling emotions and problem solving the issue at hand. Now let's have a look at the 5 steps to emotion coaching. Step 1 is to be aware of emotions. Tune into your feelings. That's both yours and your child's. Now, if a child has flipped their lid, so if the emotional part of their brain has disconnected from their thinking brain, there is no point trying to tackle an outburst at that stage. You need to keep yourself emotionally safe, make sure your child is safe, and then wait until you are both in the right emotional state to discuss their feelings. Remember that we as adults set the emotional tone. Remember about mirroring behaviours. If you are calm and open, then we can help the child to develop this response. Step 2 is to connect with your child. Know that this is an opportunity to teach and guide. Remember those parenting styles. We are going straight for number 4. Step 3 is actively listen to your child. Avoid judging or criticising. Step 4, listen to your child with empathy and help your child to identify and name their emotions. Step 5, explore solutions to problems together. Set clear boundaries on behaviour. Help your child to think through possible solutions. Avoid external regulation, rewards and sanctions. Instead, do some chores together or sit and have a hug. Don't expect too much too soon. So in step 5, if you've gone through that process, if your child's having an emotional outburst, they've calmed down, they're starting to talk about it, you guide them through naming their emotion. I can see that you may feel like this. I understand why you would behave like that. Actually, what you were doing was not safe. What could you do instead? Once you've got to that point where they have problem solved and they said, well, I could do this, you'll naturally want to praise your child. Don't give them a prize. We need to see it as the prize is reaching that point. And remember, it's small steps to get to this. This isn't an easy process at all. So this is what emotion coaching isn't. It is not therapy. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that just teachers can do, although we do use these techniques in school. And it's also not letting a child get away with being naughty. It's taking a situation and looking at how you can teach your child the skills for self-reflection and regulation. So these are skills for life that we're teaching children here. We're guiding them. And as I said, it's hard work. It will feel harder before it gets easier. But just like any kind of learning, repetition, the opportunity to mirror positive behaviour in a caregiver, this is a way of working that really does work. So I've put some scripts here that you might find useful to use. So here are some examples of things that you might say to your child. You seem angry to me, or sad, upset, fed up, whatever. I can see you're angry. I can tell that you are angry. The way you're feeling is making you angry. Your face shows that you are angry. I can see that something's not quite right. Can you tell me about it? So if we look at step 2, affirming and empathizing with the emotion, allowing time and space for calming down. I'm sorry that happened to you. You must have felt angry. I can see that you get angry when that happens, when I do this. I would feel angry if that happened to me. That would make me angry. I understand why you are angry. It's normal to feel angry about that. It's okay to feel angry about that. I know you're feeling angry. I would feel the same too. So it's really keeping that very clear message of you're not judging, you're not criticizing, you're empathizing, And also you're reinforcing that belief that emotions are normal, they're shared, we all experience them. So at step 2, if you need to set a limit, so that is if a behaviour is expressing an emotion in a way that is unsafe, or not only for the child but for somebody else, or is something that could have been perceived to be naughty behaviour, in your limit setting, separate the emotion from the behaviour. Clarify what is acceptable expression of emotion and what is not. And also remember to allow time and space for calming down. But be clear and consistent, non-judgmental, not critical, but give guidance, because you are the adult. It's not okay to behave like that. That behaviour is not acceptable. The rules are that we don't do that. We don't deal with that by lashing, hitting out. You can't behave like this. This is not a safe place to be angry. Let's go to a safe place where we can talk. Behaving like that is not helpful. In this house, we behave in a more appropriate way. It's important to keep your reactions calm, which is why I said at the beginning, it's really important to look after yourself and make sure you're in the right place to be dealing with this, because it's very easy to let our own emotions grow and affect the way that we react and behave. So keep a calm tone throughout, and remember, it's setting the scene and giving the child the ability to mirror the emotion that you're expressing. So when we get to step 3, we're going to explore the feelings that gave rise to the behaviour and be specific. How were you feeling when that happened? What did it make you feel like? Have you felt like this way before? Why do you think you're feeling like this? What does your body feel like now? What feelings are you having now? Can you tell me what happened? What does it make you want to do? So all of these questions are open questions. We're not giving children the answer. We're not filling them in with our own experiences. We are listening non-judgmentally and giving children the opportunity to say in their own way, with their own limited experience and their own way of expressing themselves verbally, we're giving them the opportunity to tell us exactly how they feel, and they deserve for us to listen to that. So now when we get to step 4, we are agreeing possible solutions and scaffolding suggestions where appropriate. Now try and do this next time you feel like that. Let's decide what you will do next time you feel like this. What do you think you could do better or change next time? Do you think doing that would be more helpful for you and others? What could you have done? Can you remember what we agreed? This is what we could do instead. How do you think you'll react next time, or if this happens again? And then step 5. So we're going to identify alternative, more appropriate, productive ways of expressing or managing feelings, behaviours and actions. Empower the child to recognise the feelings and take ownership. Let's think of what we could have done instead. Can you think of a different way to deal with your feelings? I can help you think of a different way to cope. Can you remember feeling this way before and what you did? Have you thought about doing this instead? How did you handle it last time? How can you get over this? Can you remember what we discussed last time? And with emotion coaching, remember, be realistic. Take care of yourself. These strategies need teaching. This takes time, repetition, and application to become habitual. 40% is good enough. Remember to connect with your child before you try and correct their behaviours and reactions, and that behaviour is communication. Now, thank you very much for listening. I'm sure there were bits of it that you all need to go back to and look over and listen to again. If you have any questions, please contact me at school. I'll be more than happy to talk through emotion coaching with you. Good luck.